Good evening and welcome to our show, Going Public. I'm Renee Fonseca, and joining us tonight is Mark Torbert, the Child Welfare and Attendance Director for the Terrebonne Parish School District. Tonight, Mr. Torbert is going to give us some updates for the upcoming school year. I want to thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
With mental health concerns becoming a priority, what updates are planned for student mental health this school year?
That is a good question. Recently, the legislation passed several bills that deal with anything from suicide awareness. For example, the 988, which is basically a 911, if you would, for suicide prevention to try to get, could be kids, adults, some help. One of the requirements of the new bills is that it will be posted on every student's ID. In Terrebonne Parish, 7th grade and above has IDs, so that's why, just to let parents know, that's why the number's there in case they should need it. We're also taking some time with the help of the Sunshine Rotary Club locally. We are using some funds donated to us to educate our staff and help train our staff in a program called QPR, which is Question, Persuade, and Respond, to try to assist counselors where we're starting, nursing staff with the help of Ms. Erin Klingman, who helps with coordinating the nursing staffs, that we're going to be training those groups of people with Ms. Lori Brand and Ms. Tammy Medlin, who we're working with, is to train those individuals. What that'll do as well is hopefully educate our staffs to identify signs and areas of need to try to get some help for, again, could be adults, could be children, that type of thing. Because unfortunately in our system, we've had situations where we've had kids that hurt themselves, and who knows, if we would have had some training or maybe seeing some signs, it could have helped maybe in those cases.
I do think focusing on mental health is very important.
Yes, definitely. Some of the other changes, if students have multiple suspensions, for example, something that the district has already been doing. Previous supervisors and child welfare and attendants have already implemented some of these practices, but it's where conferences are mandatory with administration and parents and counselors to help assist if there's behavioral concerns that can be addressed through other means outside of the school. So this year there is a new statute that is making it even more of a mandate to where if, depending on the behavioral things that are identified, that to get the individuals more assistance. It could even mean showing some techniques or things to help out staff, which we've always done, but also to try to help limit the amount of disruption, things like that could be prevented.
I'm going to go ahead and change gears a little bit. Speaking of safety and security, do we have any new safety and security initiatives taking place this school year?
Sure. I don't know if you can use new, Renee, on that, because safety and security is an ongoing thing. You try to grow with the times. It is something that you hope you never have to use, but it is something that obviously as a district, we're always conscious of it. Working with the chief of Houma PD, working with the sheriff as well and his staff, their staffs, we try to work and coordinate things. Again, going back with Erin and working on the medical side, she helps coordinate some things for us as well. Like we're just on the forefront of it, getting some grants awarded to various schools. Southdown and Oak Lawn are the two schools that have been awarded safety grants from the spring. So with that information, or with that fund, we're going to be purchasing what we refer to as Stop the Bleed kit, which is a kit that's designed to, in the event that you have a tragic issue or something that would need more assistance, to try to help prevent further injury or even worse than that, right? That the kits will be available hopefully with it where the kids, where adults will be. Lockdown kits, meaning you give supplies if a school happens to go through a lockdown situation. A lot of times the kids, the adults in the situation are going to be in that area for quite a bit of time, because it'll take first responders some time to clear the building or to make sure that everything's safe for kids. And lockdown can be, it doesn't have to be somebody doing something wrong on the campus. It could be a gas line that's ruptured, kids are locked down. It could be a major accident, let's hope it doesn't, but a lot of our schools are around major intersections. And so it could be something as simple as that, to where they have the supplies that we need in order to hopefully continue to function. And then also access for the a Knox box is a device that's on some of the more modern buildings, and some of our schools have them that have been through major repairs or major renovations. It allows first responders to have keys and access to buildings without having to wait for, say, an administrator for the keys. So it's just some examples, but Mr. Ogeron would like to plan time to discuss the 20-point plan in more detail and at a later date. But we do want to make sure the public is aware that we're doing things to hopefully make our buildings inviting, but at the same time, safety conscious.
Definitely, preparation is definitely key, being prepared for those situations.
Yes.
What about the staff? Are the staff at each school being trained to use these devices or have these kits?
Yes. So with the help of Terrebonne General last year, over the last couple of years, they do put on classes from time to time dealing with Stop the Bleed kits in particular. The lockdown kits, you don't really need a lot of training. It's just simply supplies that you would expect to have. But the Stop the Bleed kits, within an hour, you can have, I don't know if you can use the word adequate, but at least enough training, because I guess adequate means you had enough, but whereas I always think it's an ongoing thing there too. But enough training to hopefully prevent a further injury. And again, with our community help, our community partners, as well as people like Ms. Erin Kleeman, Mr. Corey Butler, throughout our whole department, throughout our whole system, they help assist with that.
It sounds like these partnerships are definitely beneficial to our district.
Oh, it's huge. I can't say enough about it.
Well, it looks like we have to take a short break. Please continue to join us after the break to continue hearing from Mr. Mark Torbert.
Terrebonne Parish School District is now hiring bus drivers. A valid CDL is required. If you don't have a CDL, we will train you. You must be able to pass a medical health exam and a drug test. Salary range is $19,253 to $29,859. Benefits include free health insurance and retirement. Contact the TPSD Transportation Office at 985-876-7400.
Welcome back to Going Public. If you are just joining us tonight, I am Renee Fonseca, and joining us is Mark Torbert, the Child Welfare and Attendance Director for the Terrebonne Parish School District. I want to once again thank you for joining us tonight. I know before the break we were kind of talking about the safety and security issues going on in our district. Let's go ahead and change over to some of the other changes that are occurring. I know before the end of the school year, we had discussed dress code changes. Mm-hmm. Can you give us just a brief overview of some of those changes that are occurring? Sure.
Probably the biggest one is the length of skirts for our students who choose to wear them. That as fashion trends shift, so did the height of the skirts, as many of us can attest to as you go around to some of our campuses. And so with Mr. Ogeron's direction, as well as support from our board and community as well, we had parents, teachers, as well as administrators participate in the discussion of the change. And with that, we came to an agreement to say a 2-inch level no higher than 2 inches from the knee when standing. And we felt that would not put, it would be a way that all staff could enforce without putting people in an awkward situation. And also keep the young ladies or whoever chooses to wear skirts at school, that they'll be able to still wear them and be what you would expect in a public place. And so that's one of the biggest changes. The other change is that the old policy, it referred to K to 3 and then 4 to 12 in the language for the grade levels. But most cases, if you think of a K to, or an elementary school, usually people would think of a K to 4. And then you think of a 5 to 8 as a middle and then a 9 to 12 as a high school. So again, when we were changing the policy and we looked at it to be consistent with that mindset, that we decided to change it to a K to 4 and a 5 to 12. Now the change to that is that it may be subtle when it comes to, say, on the east side of town, because most of our schools are K to, or they incorporate 5 and 8, or our elementaries are K to 4, whereas on the west side it's a little different, especially with Caldwell, that kind of thing. But our 4th graders and below will be allowed to wear the blue or the navy blue pants, and whereas then the 5th grade and above would wear the khaki or black, those things. So those are probably the 2 more significant changes for this coming year.
And where can our parents find the updated dress code? Is it on the school website,
Yes.
Facebook, all of the
Yes.
above?
Yes. We try to publicize it. As a matter of fact, as early as this past weekend, we sent out a reminder to all fifth and above. Specifically, that's why some people may not receive the list. It was targeted toward our fifth grade and above parents. And so it didn't go just to everybody. To try to cut down on, I know if people are like me, you tend to get a lot of text messages and you kind of think, okay, which one's important? So we try to limit that overuse of that program. As a matter of fact, we just recently discussed that to try to limit to where parents aren't getting an email or a text when it doesn't necessarily pertain to them.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and talk about cell phones now.
Oh, okay.
I know this is probably a big topic.
Yeah.
Will our district incur any changes to our current cell phone policy?
Yes. To some degree, I would say yes. There's a recent law that was passed that would restrict a student from being in possession of their phone where it's on, that type of thing, during the instructional day. So working with Mr. Ogeron and even consulting with other districts, the statute does not specify what is considered the instructional day. It's our understanding that the instructional day will be the way we as a district interpret that. So there are some internal discussions as to try to be as user-friendly, if you would, to everyone involved, whether our staff to have to enforce the policy as well as our kids to follow it. And because understanding in today's day and age, everybody's attached to their phones, and understanding that parents enjoy, I know I do as a dad, you enjoy the instant, I can call my daughter instantly and she'll get a response within a short time. And so everyone is used to that now. And especially with the unfortunate circumstances of some of the tragedies we've seen across our country, that parents want to be able to reach out to their kids. But if there's one thing I can emphasize to our parents is to just go back to our safety discussion, is that we train and we look at ways that we can hopefully make our campuses as safe as possible. And we put things in place to evacuate or to hunker down if we have to because none of our campuses can handle a major influx of parents coming to the campuses. And I totally understand, I'm not minimizing the anguish that would create, God forbid we ever have to deal with a situation such as that. But just if they can understand that it's not to keep their kids away from them, but it's just the idea to make sure that we can keep control of the situation. We don't interfere with our first responders trying to get to the campus in order to keep their kids safe and to put down whatever issue that may be needing addressed. Like I said, it could be a fire in the building, it could be a gas leak, it could be a lot of things, not just a crisis involving someone with a weapon. And so that's one of the biggest things is that parents understanding, communicate with your kids, but at the same time, recognize the fact that we can't handle having, say, 500 cars coming at one time to any of our buildings, even the largest campus like AHL or our smallest campus like some of our elementary schools. We just wouldn't be able to handle the influx of traffic, and it would prevent safety from happening.
That's definitely understandable.
Yeah.
Transportation. I know last year we did have some changes with our transportation system. Yes. Where can parents find out information, such as their zones, their routes, and all of that good stuff for this school year, that's coming up?
Sure. So if for our parents that moved into the area or our parents that maybe changed neighborhoods, they can go to our website and under the parent link, and I think it's also been added to the main page of the website as well. Mr. Leonard Falls, who keeps that up, he added information to where parents should be able to link on that and they can look up their zone. Transportation routes have not been updated just yet from last year. They're still working out the kinks. So with a little bit of luck, within a few weeks or a couple of weeks, hopefully they'll have those up and running to where they can see what zones or what routes they have to follow.
Well, I know it's definitely coming quickly, so
Yes.
It'll be here before we know it.
That's true.
I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I would like to thank you, our viewers, for watching. Don't forget to join us every week on Going Public. Good night.